Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan. This video is another edition of our player comparison series, and this is an interesting video because it's of two quarterbacks, as you can see from the title, Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson. What do they both have in common? Well, as you probably know, they've both been rumored to be very unhappy with their organizations and have been linked to trade rumors and discussions because of that. So we're going to talk about them, compare them to statistically what they've done in their careers, how much longer we think they could succeed, and just really, who presents the better value for a team if they are to be traded or on their current franchise. So just these two guys, they've been in a lot of headlines because of the crazy trade rumors. So we're going to just compare them and have a discussion about who has the edge.
Fair warning, very much so pre-recorded, so hopefully these guys didn't get traded. If they did, doesn't matter. We're still going to talk about which one we think franchises would want more. And I guess I'll start off. If I was an NFL franchise, I'd be trying to get Russell Wilson more than I would be Deshaun Watson. And that sounds a bit strange because Watson is every bit as good as Wilson was during his first years in the NFL, and he's a lot younger, so there's more time for him to grow. But with Russell Wilson, I already see those aspects of leadership that I would want to bring in right away, and I think could make an immediate impact on a franchise. Not to say Deshaun Watson would not do that, because he would. I just lean towards Russell Wilson because he's proven it for longer. He's a great leader, a great person, and same with Deshaun Watson. I love both of these guys, but I'd go with Wilson.
I mean, just
I don't know where we're starting by picking already, but
well, no, I just think that if I'm a GM, it kind of depends on just
we'll pick and then we'll talk about
well,
it.
yeah, I really think if I'm a GM, it's
What are
not
you
so
looking
much.
for?
It's
What
not yeah.
position is your franchise?
Yes,
in?
that's a good
Do you
thing.
need to win now, or do you want to build for the future?
Like, am I trying to win a Super Bowl this year? Is it this year or bust, or am I looking for more sustained success, trying to find a guy?
Well, which quarterback do you think is better right now?
What quarterback do I think is better?
Yes.
I think Deshaun Watson is more talented right now, but I don't think that means he's got as many good years left, even though he's a lot younger. And I don't think that necessarily means he's the best fit for every organization. Like Jordan said, this is not a one-size-fits-all thing. It depends what you're looking for, what style of offense you run, what type of supporting cast you have. So I think Watson is more talented, but if Russell Wilson's asking price is less, or if you just feel he fits better in your offense, I think you go try and get him. I think it's kind of a team-to-team issue, and it's not that it's not that Deshaun is universally seen as better by all 32 franchises in the league, or Russell Wilson is universally seen better by all 32 franchises. I doubt that either of those scenarios are the case.
Yeah, and these two players, they're so hard to compare because they're very similar and they're both very good. They're two quarterbacks in the NFL that can run when they have to, but they're not guys like Lamar Jackson who consistently run on a really consistent and kind of annoying basis. They know when and when not to run, and Deshaun Watson is still learning that, but he's gotten a lot better at it. Ryan could attest to that as a Texans fan. Also, Russell Wilson, he could run when he needs to, but he's a really smart quarterback, makes really smart decisions. So they are very similar quarterbacks, and they are hard to compare. But for now, I'm going to pick Russell Wilson for sake of being different, and also for the sake that I probably wouldn't have done it anyways, just because I think Wilson's arm might be a bit better right now, and I still love his ability to run. I think he's great in the pocket. I think that it's been rough for Russell Wilson. That's why there have been trade talks, just because the way the offense has been running in Seattle, it's not been going the way that he thrives in. That's unfortunate for him. But when he's thriving, he's doing really good. He showed us early on last season the player that he can be when that offense is kind of built around him, and he's in his prime days of playing football. I think he still is in his prime days. I think he's a really fantastic player. So just because I feel like Russell Wilson is a bit more rounded, I'm going to go with Russell Wilson. Yeah, it's definitely close. Very similar, both of these guys are in what they're able to do. Like we mentioned, more youth with Deshaun Watson, but more experience with Russell Wilson is definitely something to take into account. You guys got the statistics for both of them pulled up, both for their careers so far and for last year. So you guys can read those off, and then we can look at those and talk about that as a comparison. Well, yeah, it's hard to compare the stats because they've played for different amounts of time. So we can't just look at career and be like, oh, they played the same amount of we'll do last games. Last year. Yeah, so we'll jump to last year. So I'm on Russell Wilson right now. Okay, I'll go to Deshaun Watson, then we'll do Russell Wilson. So 2020 season, which was last year, we'll go yards first. 4,823 yards for Deshaun Watson. Ryan informed me before the video that he led the league in that stat this year for passing. So it's something I didn't even know. but that's with the bad Texans organization that they just had. Of course, the run game was non-existent throughout a lot of stretches in the season, so they had to lean on the arm of Deshaun Watson. That's a big reason why he led the NFL in this stat. But another big reason is because he's just good. And then we jump to Russell Wilson for yards. I almost read off his career. That would not have been 2020. That would have been 33,946. He did not get that many yards in 2020. But he did get 4,212 yards. So that's not bad either. That's about 600 off of what Deshaun Watson got. And that's like what I talked about. Watson had to throw a bit more than Deshaun Watson. Actually, look at their attempts. Watson threw 544 times. That's the most of his career. And Russell Wilson threw actually a bit more. He threw 558 times.
Yeah, I mean, both really good. I mean, it's just so hard to compare because I feel like when you compare like these players, you also have to compare their surroundings, and I feel like at times they were both in situations where their offensive scheme was holding them back. I thought that the Seahawks did a great job with letting Russ cook, as was popularly said in the beginning of the season, but then they kind of went away from that for some reason, and then because of that, their offense regressed in the second half of last season. But for the Texans, I felt like once Bill O'Brien got out of there and once Romeo Crennel stepped in, I felt like Deshaun Watson was a bit more free. He was able to do what he wanted to do. He wasn't being held back by poor play calling or management, or still the upper management, but like at least on the coaching level, I felt like he was more free to be who they knew he could be. So I think that they both are just kind of in similar situations right now where the sky is the limit as far as their talent. Russell Wilson is a lot older, but I don't think he's showing any signs of slowing down. And Deshaun Watson, and this is something that I've had a concern about even just, before he requested the trade and there was all this, rumblings about, bad things in the Texans organization from a management point. Just, like you wonder, like he has such a thin frame and he takes so many hits and he's a mobile guy. And that's just great because he has those, great, playmaking ability because he can take those hits and because he can move around so easily. But then you wonder, will those hits add up? Will there be one time where he takes a big sack and then there's an injury there? You just, when you have a guy that's, has as thin of a frame and takes as many hits as he does, it's kind of like when we talk about Devontae Smith out of the draft. A concern is his frame. You have kind of that concern about Deshaun Watson because he can take these hits, but you wonder if they'll add up, as we've seen for some guys, those hits, on those, leaner type of quarterbacks and those running type of quarterbacks add up. So that's my concern with Deshaun Watson. It's the longevity. I had that concern even before the trade rumors. I still think he can play for a long time. It's just, can he stay healthy? And for Russell, I mean, how old is he right now? It says he's 32. So yeah, not like, old by any means, but you wonder, sometimes they always say the wrong side of 30, there's always that slight fear of a regression, although I don't think that's an issue for us. But again, it's a team-to-team thing. That's really my philosophy on it.
And you're talking about the possibility of injuries with Deshaun Watson. I want to flip the coin to the guy we're comparing him to, which is Russell Wilson, and he's had a virtually injury-free career. That's something that he's been known for, is really being able to be on the field day in and day out, or I should say week in and week out, because that's when you play every week in the NFL. But he's been a guy who's able to stay healthy, which has been a huge part of his game. I don't have the stat pulled up for how much he's sat out, but it really has not been a lot. I could actually try to figure out real quick on here. Let's see, game started. Yeah, his career, I don't think he's not started a game. It says he started in all 16 games each season that he's been in the NFL. So it's kind of crazy that Russell Wilson has been able to do that, especially with the amount of hits that he's taking in some seasons. Also, an off note, I'm looking at Pro Football Reference, and sometimes they'll have nicknames for these guys. We've heard of Mr. Unlimited before from Tyler, but there's also the Asterisk in Robot Russell. I don't think anybody has ever used any of those nicknames.
Maybe people in Seattle. Yeah. I kind of like those names, though. I mean, I brought up Mr. Unlimited on the podcast, and they had no idea what I was talking about. Yeah. So, Russell Wilson, you got to brand your nicknames a bit more, because you got a bunch and we don't know them. Watson, it says there's none on there, right?
No,
there's not.
Well, he's still got plenty of time to get there. But if we're going right now, what'd you say?
What?
Derek.
Well, that's just his birth name. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, was his middle name Deshaun?
Well, I guess, legally, but, people, that's not uncommon, people going by their middle name.
I just didn't know that. What we're talking about is Watson's full name is actually Derek Deshaun Watson, but he goes by Deshaun. I didn't know that. And now that we're on names, Russell Carrington Wilson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would say Russell Carrington Wilson has the edge a bit, as I said at the beginning of the video, even just now in terms of the talent.
RCW.
Because of what he's able to do in terms of extending plays without getting himself hurt or without doing something dumb and putting himself in a dumb situation. Now, we've seen with Russell Wilson, especially as we get past weeks 1 to 5, he starts to struggle a little bit. Weeks 1 to 5, he's always the best quarterback in the league for some reason. Then he starts to fade off. I think both of these guys have a chance to get a Super Bowl, regardless of if they stay where they are or if they leave. Maybe not Watson if he stays with the Texans. Both great talents. I think it's very close between them, and but like I said, I just go with Wilson. That's what I have to say about it.
Oh, so he switched?
No,
I was Wilson. I was Wilson from day one.
From the beginning.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's obviously no disrespect to Deshaun Watson because
No disrespect.
no disrespect, but you know, what was his first name again? Derek.
Yeah. According to Pro Football Reference.
That's still blowing my mind right now. Okay.
I mean, it's not an uncommon thing, but okay.
I know, but I mean, you never think of the guy having the first name Derek. I love how we got into this type of conversation.
Yeah.
With it. Anyways, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, both two guys that are on the trading block possibly right now. It seems more likely that Watson will be traded than Wilson.
Yeah.
But both of them, there have been trade talks going around them. So we wanted to compare them, say, which one is better right now? Which one, if you were a franchise, would you pick just based on their talent? You went with Watson, right?
Yes.
And Jordan and I went with Russell Wilson. Very close. Both of these guys are top 5 quarterbacks in the league, no question. I think at least. Would you guys agree with that?
Absolutely.
So, let us know what you guys think down below. We want to hear, are you a Watson or a Wilson guy? Go down and let us know in the comments. Also, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, comment down below. Like I said, go check out our podcast and our Instagram as well. We post a bunch of free agent stuff on there. We put quotes talking about the free agency move that happened. So if you want to see our opinions on that, go check out on our Instagram. I think that's all I have to say for this video. So with that, we'll see you guys later.
See ya.